Good evening, and welcome to the St. Petersburg By Night podcasting network. Tonight, we present to you our Vampire the Masquerade chronicle, Bloody Strings.
Welcome to another St. Pete by Night revamped production. The following is rated for mature audiences and may contain graphic themes that will be distressing to some viewers. As always, we recommend you ensure the safety and well-being of yourself and those around you at all times. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello again, and welcome to another episode of Bloody Strings. I am Beara the Bard, junior storyteller on St. Pete by Night, and these are my lovely players. Please introduce yourselves again.
Hello, I am Noree, and I'm playing Bellatrix, the Malkavian.
And I'm Kyrie, and I'll be playing Grei, the Toreador.
Hello, I'm Lekar, and I will be playing the Toreador Matthew Halden.
Hello, I'm Truckexe, and I'll be playing Nicholas Baldridge, the Malkavian.
Fantastic. Last we left off, you guys went and explored the sewer haven of Benjamin Fanny the Nosferatu. As you were exploring, you happened to come across the child, Sarah, daughter of the Malkavian victim that you found a few nights prior. You managed to save the child, and nobody become harmed at all by the bomb that was placed and left there for Benjamin. You managed to escape. You brought the child back to Edwin, the keeper. After a discussion of what comes next, he made an agreement to arrange a meeting between yourselves and the only person in the city with the authority to allow you to do anything in regard to this child, Prince Carmine. While you waited for this meeting, you have tended to a few things, gotten some business in order. And that is where we find ourselves the day of. We are going to begin with Grei, kind of walking up to a kind of suburban looking home on the northeast side of the neutral zone. I'll go ahead and let you describe what you are approaching. or how you're approaching, and move forward from there.
Yeah, as he's walking up to the door, he has a fairly large gift in his hands, wrapped in red wrapping paper with a gold bow on top. Very festive for the time of the season. He straightens up his jacket, brushes the slacks off a little, and will knock on the door.
After a few moments, the door opens. Rather than the very casual clothing you found him in before, he is now wearing a kind of multicolored, like a exaggerated multicolored plaid jacket, vibrant pink bow tie, green button-up shirt, green slacks, no shoes. He's got a kind of looks like a flat cap, but it's kind of more rounded at the top. Not sure what the proper name for that hat is, but it's it looks like it's knitted with kind of like a rainbow pattern. His beard trimmed to a goatee and filled with glitter. He sees you and I see
Mr.
what I
Hodges.
had to knock this time.
Yes, not only did we knock, well, did I knock, but I'll offer the gift. This is for you, from us.
Give me a charisma persuasion.
Three successes.
You're muted.
Thank you. He kind of looks at the gift for a moment, smiles, and looks back at you. Very well. Thank you. He takes it from you and offers you to come inside the house. He goes over to the little island counter that you guys saw before that kind of divides the living room from the kitchen, sets it down, turns back around, and goes into the main room and offers you a seat.
Check as I come inside. He's not wearing shoes. Does he have shoes near the door?
He does not.
Should I leave my shoes on or take them off, sir?
Whatever's fine. I do not care.
I'll leave them on then, thank you.
Excellent. He sits down in this kind of it looks like the situation looks like this is where like the good chair would be, but this chair looks awfully stiff and uncomfortable. He sits down in it, gestures toward the couch.
Have a seat on the couch.
So, Mr.
Grei, it was. Novak.
Mr. Grei, Novak. What brings you here tonight?
Honestly, I wanted to apologize, Mr. Hodges. The urgency by which we were acting caused us to overlook all sorts of hospitality. And I am deeply sorry for any offense that we may have caused.
Oh, just caught me a little off guard is all. No one died. I see no issue here.
And I appreciate you being as understanding as you have been. I also did want to check on you. I know we had to deliver some fairly horrible news. I wanted to see how you were holding up.
Oh, yes. Dear Grim. Things happen. Can't really let every little hiccup throw a wrench in your day, no?
Oh, that is true, and that is commendable of you. But if you ever felt like you needed someone to talk to or needed to get anything off your chest, I would absolutely be willing to listen. I can only imagine how attached he may have been to you.
Oh, I'm certain there was a strong bond there indeed. But I must say his visits have been scarce.
I'm sorry for that.
Oh, no, it's more than fine. I do admit I do miss the conversations about the lovely city. I don't get an opportunity to get down there myself very often.
You should come down. Sometime or another.
Last time I was in town, things got a little messy. I tend to steer clear.
Ah, I see. You're not persona non grata then? Just avoiding the place.
Yes. Went to a party. Wasn't a great fit. Ghoul lost their tooth. It was rather unfortunate.
Sounds like an interesting party.
I didn't say it wasn't interesting. Just messy.
Well, if you won't make the trip down there, do you mind if I make the trip up to you every now and again? Just to check in and see how you're doing.
Don't see why not. Always use a good conversation, and again, I do miss hearing about the goings-on in the city.
Well, I'll definitely be willing to tell you about the things happening up there. Down there, I should say. Also, wanted to ask if you were in need of anything. Particularly, I'm working on a service that I think would appeal to everyone, regardless
Service?
of whether or not you're from the city. Yes. I couldn't help but notice your baking. I thought that perhaps you might need some more exotic ingredients.
Perhaps. That could be interesting. I like the smell sometimes. Especially on the holidays, kind of reminds you of a time before, well, I'm sure you understand.
What would you say if I could get you something that had the taste? Not just the smell.
You could simulate taste in something that is within the blood.
I may have a few contacts.
Interesting. Well, Mr. Novak, I would say that I consider that quite intriguing.
Well, good. Then I will put you on the list. Pumpkin spice, I imagine, would be your choice.
Of course.
Excellent. Well, I don't want to keep you too much. I know you are a busy man. I'll be back. Time and again, we can chat about the city and see how your baking is going.
I look forward to it.
So do I.
Well, if that is all, I have a little business to attend to. I will see you to the door.
Stand up.
He stands up,
Walk to the door.
opens it, and lets you out. Enjoy the rest of your evening, Mr. Novak.
Good night, Mr. Hodges.
And he closes the door. What does Grei do now? And what is he thinking?
Currently, he is wondering how much Mr. Hodges will be worth pulling some strings in order to get him something with a little bit of pumpkin spice. And we'll slowly put that thought aside and focus on meeting with the prince later this evening and trying to do his best to represent Nick and Nick's interests when it comes to that.
All right. So I presume that means you start heading toward...
Back towards the belly, yeah.
Well, Bellatrix and Nicholas. I'll go ahead and say after whatever it is that you have been doing this evening, you converge together at the Dully, knowing that this is where Sarah is being kept. As you are waiting for Edwin to come see you, the keeper, what is going through your minds? Bellatrix first.
The girl is interesting. Still not sure if she's a shard or not. Hopefully talking to her, or if we can convince the prince for us to keep her, spending time with her will reveal that little part.
And Nicholas.
Nick's focus is connecting with her. At least trying to... What he's thinking about right now is just keeping her alive and trying to give her something to look to for hope. But he doesn't know the condition she's in. He's hoping to at least give her some kindness to face whatever's going to come. But he's also absolutely terrified that he can't save her or in any way. He just wants her to be alive, whatever that means.
As the two of you are waiting, you are with each other, kind of arrive differently or together. You are in this room, so I will go ahead and give you the scene for a moment.
Bella is holding a large, like a small suitcase, basically, and a pillow. Looks to be probably modestly colored, like neutral colors, and a blanket.
Nick would look at that, nod. Thank you, Bella.
She's probably cold and lonely.
Yeah, wish we could get more than an hour before all this.
After waiting just a little bit longer, the keeper steps into the room. Bellatrix, Nicholas, I hope you are having a, pleasant evening. I understand that you wish to meet with Sarah, which is permitted. I cannot offer you an extended period of time. It will be brief, but you may see her now if you wish.
I brought stuff for her, if that's okay.
It will need to be inspected, but that should be fine. He has you. He gestures for you to follow him. He takes you down the typical route, same path that you took before to see the room before. Before you are allowed into the room, he has a table kind of set up outside the door and gestures for you to place the suitcase down.
I'll set it down.
Do you have anything inside the suitcase that would be considered problematic.
Probably not. There's about 3 books I took from her house. Her locket, some clothes, some toiletries, like makeup and stuff. More on the lines of makeup and stuff. Like, there might be a toothbrush if Bella remembered that brushing your teeth is a thing that humans like have to do often. But yeah, it's mostly that. It's mostly clothes, some makeup, books.
After he kind of picks through everything, he nods, he closes it. He should be fine. The door is open. She has spent a lot of the time quiet. Hasn't said too much of anything. We haven't been able to... We suspect that she didn't really know.
She doesn't.
Do you confirm this?
She has a diary. She didn't know. She saw her mom was spending a lot of time in the day away from her in her room, which was locked, but she didn't suspect.
I understand. Well, you are welcome to go in when you're ready.
Nick will walk in first.
You step into the room, and upon entering, you can... This is very clearly a holding space. This isn't the most comfortable of locations, but it looks like they tried to make some level of accommodations that are not terrible. There's a comfortable bed. Lighting's better than you would in most of these rooms. As you kind of step in, she is seated on her bed, kind of pulled back to the corner of the room, kind of with like her knees to her chest and kind of sitting there quietly. When you open the door, she kind of stares at you past her brows, with her arms kind of up here, and quietly waits.
I'll peek in behind Nick. Hi. I brought some stuff for you. I thought the room might be kind of cold, so I brought your blanket and a pillow. I hope it's your favorite pillow, I don't know. And I brought some clothes and some books for you. You had a lot of... I don't know which ones you've read.
Apologies, technical difficulties, everyone. Back up just a little bit. You just stepped into the room. I think I got you saying hi.
Okay. Hi. I'll stick my head around Nick. I brought you some stuff from home. Thought you might be lonely. I brought you a blanket and a pillow from your room, and some books and some clothes.
She kind of just sits there quietly.
I'll step around Nick and roll it over to the bed and set the stuff down. You can look at it if you want. Step back, look to Nick.
Nick will walk and stop at a decent distance from her and sit on the ground, cross-legged, looking at her. Hi, Sarah. Do you remember me? I wish I had time to tell you everything that you probably want to ask. Sorry, I don't. It'd be hard to start with, anyway. How about this? I know you don't really want to talk right now. I know you're probably scared and worried, right? Well, if they're among those things, I have a little trick that might be interesting to you. Do you have anything of your mother's on you? Something that means a lot to you.
I don't have my pendant.
Oh,
Liquid.
yes, you do. It's in the suitcase.
Well,
When you
here's what
say
I'm going
that,
to-
she perks up just a little bit. She kind of slowly makes her way over to the suitcase, pops it open. You can see she takes out some of the things that you brought, kind of looks through them. She gently sets the books over on the little table by the side of the bed. She looks over at you as she's pulling everything out, and then she finds the pendant. She opens it, looks at the picture of her mother. She clearly gets a little emotional. Her eyes start to well up a little bit as she thanks you. And then she doesn't retreat back to the corner like she did. She now just sits on the edge of the bed, just holding the pendant.
Nick will shift but stay on the ground, move to his knees. Now, I know that's important to you. This represents two people important to me. If you trade it with me for just a few minutes, what if I would have the chance to tell you something that your mother thought about you when she gave you that. Can't guarantee it, but would you like that? I'll give it right back, and you can hold on to what's important to me in return.
Nick, that's not a good idea.
Do you continue?
It's her choice.
It's your choice too.
Give me, both of you, give me a wits and insight.
Two successes.
3.
That was a 3 and a...
2.
You both clock that there is some hesitation at this proposition.
Maybe just let her spend some time with the necklace.
I'm not going to force it. It was just an offer, and it would only be for a few minutes. But if you don't want to, Sarah, it's totally fine. It's just a little thing that I can do. There's a lot to the world that is interesting, as much as it is other things. But I'm glad that you can have that for yourself, sir.
I'm going to roll. Nicholas, high or low?
Hi.
High it is. No, thank you.
I've seen what situations different but similar like this can make people feel. I don't say I know, but I've seen it. I wish I had more than words and a desire to see you get through this whole as you can and have a chance to fill up what's missing. I know it's all heavy-handed words from an adult. I wish I could do better than that. Your mother did a wonderful job with what she could, from what I can tell.
Why am I here?
A bad man took you. After he killed your mom.
That bad man is part of things that... Oh, you look at the books. Are any of them are they all wrong? Like, what type of genre are the books that she pulled out?
They're like she's probably like 12, 13. I am not sure what children read today, so I'm going to say something, whatever today's equivalent of Harry Potter would be, basically.
Well, you know how in Harry Potter there's different organizations that work secretively, sometimes for bad reasons, sometimes for good. Like the Aurors. And then the Truck is blanking on it. Death Eaters.
I have been here for a week. I've not seen one policeman. I've not really heard anything.
I'll cut a glance at Nick. A bad man took you. A bad man took you who was very sick in his mind. He is still out there. We are trying to find him, but at the moment, we feel that might be safe for you to stay here until we find a place for you to be safer.
She sits there for a moment. She goes to say something when the door opens behind you. Edwin kind of steps in the doorway. It is time.
Stand up. We'll see you soon.
She nods. She kind of climbs back into the bed and sits quietly as she waits.
Before Nick leaves, he'll look at his coin. I'm giving the two this represents have looked over me and then my rock. And he'll put it on the bed. Hold on to it for me, alright? It's my promise that I'm going to come back and do what I can. And he won't wait for an answer, he'll just turn and walk away.
I will give her a soft smile and a wave and head out.
She kind of smiles nervously and waves back, but then kind of drops as you guys pass through the door. The door closes behind you, and Edwin turns. I do apologize, I had to cut that short, but Prince is here, and I don't like to keep him waiting.
It's not like we could explain things further anyway at the present moment.
No.
I was trying to use an allegory, Bella, but you were right.
I wasn't talking about
Was something disclosed in there?
No.
that. No. I will just, glare daggers at Nick.
Nick's honest. He doesn't think he's disclosed anything.
Nothing
well.
was disclosed.
Very well. Follow me. The rest of your coterie is here, and we will be having the meeting in just a moment. And with that, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will have a very interesting discussion. Be back in a moment. Welcome back. All right, we are going to dive right in. Bellatrix and Nicholas, you follow Edwin for a little bit until you get to the little hallway right outside where you guys originally were given your task from Charlie and Edwin on that first night. Already gathered here is Grei and Matthew. Edwin kind of stops a little bit to give you an opportunity to regroup with everybody before the meeting as he kind of steps back quietly. If there's any discussion or anything that you wish to happen before this meeting, now is the opportunity.
Are you all ready for this?
Yes.
No. But it is what it is.
How's she doing?
Scared.
Well, I've learned a bit about Carmine, and from what I understand, he's fair, if anything. So that's at least a benefit. Turn to look at Nick. But don't get your hopes up. Don't get attached. If he's pragmatic, then there's no guarantees for her.
So I read her diary. When she was living with her mom, she didn't know. She noticed her mom acting different, but she didn't suspect any of this. You know, being kidnapped by a psychopath kind of tends to do that to children.
Sound like you speak from experience.
Maybe.
Right.
Okay. Yes, Nick.
Whatever comes up, you have my approval to put me under the microscope if it means giving her the best chance, even if I am the one who has to take complete and total responsibility for her.
Let's deal with that when we come to it.
I'll keep my mouth shut.
If we come to it. Keeper, I think we're ready.
Approaches. Very well. He steps between you guys and the door and opens it. I will go ahead and let you guys into the room for this meeting, and I will allow our lovely guest to introduce the space that you're going into. Please go on ahead.
The place you're entering is the director's office, the one responsible for the museum, a place many meetings took place before under Prince Isabel de Navarra's guidance and leadership. The room, however, is very, very different in its appearance than it was before. The long wooden conference room remains, but the once ornate hand-carved desk at the end of the conference table has been replaced by something a little more modern, a little more practical. There are no shiny bells or whistles. There's no intricate or lovely designs. It is something you would expect to see in an office building, perhaps in a CEO's office, someone who is grounded and not one to be very flashy. Behind the table is probably the most interesting piece, a hand-carved wooden chair. Again, with no intricacies, no special touches, no fancy scroll work or design. Simple, practical, realistic. There are no casters beneath that allow it to swivel or turn. You can assume that if it were to be pulled across a floor surface, it would give that genuine creak and screech as it went across the surface itself. Behind that chair, facing the back wall, admiring what appears to be a art piece of Dali's handiwork, hanging behind it, a replica of one of his more famous pieces, stands the Prince, Carmine Russo. He is dressed very plainly, like one would expect a college professor to be, a tweed suit coat, a buttoned-up shirt slightly unbuttoned at the top, his long salt and pepper hair kind of hanging down to his shoulders, neatly brushed out, a full salt and pepper beard covering his jawline and his top lip. He is a man that one might consider easy to overlook, unremarkable, which is not befitting one of the Toreador, but he somehow still sports that feature even in his unlife. As you enter, he kind of turns, looking away from the hallucinogenic Toreador, which is the art piece that hangs on the wall behind him, to face all of you. Charlie stands to his right, nearby, ready to assist as necessary. Charlie, go ahead and describe how you look this particular evening.
Charlie is dressed in a pleather pink blazer with a fur collar, pink fur collar and pink fur sleeves, and a pencil skirt that is lined at the bottom with pink fur as well, and a slit going up with some black pumps, some cat-eye glasses with pink lenses, and a really high ponytail. She also has a really big red bag with her, emulating the Elle Woods first movie.
The only other feature in the room that stands out is the hand-carved wooden crossbow, which seems to be set upon the surface of the desk, already cocked back with a single wooden bolt with a silver-tipped crossbow bolt head already locked in to the chamber. It is not pointed at the door. In fact, it is pointed off to the side in a very non-aggressive fashion, but clearly at the ready and within arm's reach of the prince should he need it. He takes a moment to look over all of you and then addresses the keeper. Keeper Kane, who have you brought before me this evening?
My prince, I have brought to you the Coterie that we called for to discover the individual behind the Malkavian murder spree. This is Novak, Nicholas Baldridge, Matthew Halden, and Bellatrix.
Grei will bow deeply.
Good evening to all of you.
It's an honor for you to see us. We brought you a gift. He will step forward and lay the small palm-sized box on the desk. It's red wrapping paper with a gold bow. In the spirit of the season, and representing who we are not forgotten.
It is greatly appreciated. Thank you. Please have a seat. And he gestures to the rolling kind of leather chairs that are flanking each side of the long conference table. Make yourselves comfortable. We have much to discuss, it seems.
Grei will move and take a seat.
I will sit down as well.
Nick will do the same.
As will Matthew.
Edwin kind of lowers his head again. Do you wish for me to remain here, or do you wish me to wait outside?
Stay, Keeper. We may still yet have need of your services, and I would wish you to be present to hear anything as you take some responsibility for this coterie. It would be best for you to be aware of everything that happens with it.
Excellent. He sits down kind of between the coterie and the Oracle and the Prince.
Oracle Charlie, please take a seat.
Oh, yes. She'll just climb into a chair.
Long have the Malkavians held great status within this city. From our two oracles, Athena and now Charlie, to the Primogen, Eldon, and Joseph, who came before her. That is why this was of the utmost importance when it came to my attention that someone seemed to be targeting the Malkavians. I won't allow it. My grandsire held the Malkavians in high regard, and so to carry on her legacy, I have adopted that respect as well. Not just to honor her, but because of their deeds and the ways they have served the city many times over. Charlie herself has been of a great service to us. So as we begin, I would like, in your own words, for you to describe to me what you've found and what you believe to be taking place. And with that, he pulls out the wooden chair and sits down upon it. And as he sits, you can hear the creak of the chair. It seems to be quite old in its make, but still serving its purpose, even after all these years.
Suppose that this tale starts with Benjamin, Mr. Benjamin Fanny, who was, from what we understand, discovered in the sewers some time ago. I was told there was something of a issue regarding thin bloods. Seems that since that time, his mind has slipped from him, and he has gotten increasingly worse. It appears that he chose to attack oracles and prophets for the intent purpose of devouring their brains. In an attempt to relieve what he believed was a condition, or believes is a condition.
Primogen Charlie, does this Benjamin account for one amongst your family, in your eyes? As in recognized within the city as part of your clan?
That's a storyteller question. Would he be recognized within the city?
To your knowledge, Benjamin was a Nosferatu that was found in the Thin Blood Hive.
Okay, perfect.
Which was somewhere under the neutral zone.
Perhaps I should ask of Primogen Alistair then. My mistake.
He believes Primogen Charlie to be responsible for his growing madness.
Imogen, are you responsible for this kindred's growing madness?
If I am, it's not on purpose. No.
And I must say, we do not mean that as any form of accusation.
Right.
We just mean that as understanding his perspective.
I did not take it as any sort of accusation. It is best to know the perspectives of everyone involved, even those that might be at fault. You are just simply relaying the information, and I am receiving it as such.
I think he believes that devouring the brains of the Malkavians, he is searching for something to heal himself, stop what's happening, but now he believes he doesn't have any time left and is targeting Primage and Charlie.
Keeper, after this meeting is done, please call upon the sheriff to assign an additional security detail to Primage and Charlie.
Upon this revelation, I have already sought to that task, sir.
Very good. Have you encountered this Benjamin before?
Twice now, we have encountered him. Once he was able to give us the slip in the neutral zone. The second time, he was able to penetrate the defenses of Elysium. His ability to remain hidden is remarkable.
At the mention of the neutral zone, you see his face kind of tense ever so slightly, as if there is something churning within him at the mention of the very existence of it.
Lost my train of thought for a moment. He has the ability to hide objects and likes to set up traps to where they can't be seen. We were able to locate what we thought was his haven, and he had set a trap. That's where we found the human girl, Sarah. He had set a bomb, so we were unable to recover much information, but we do have a journal that I am going through, and then I plan to hand over to the keeper himself.
Who is this human girl?
Her name is Sarah, from what we understand, and she was the daughter of one of the victims. I understand how that may seem. From what we know, her mother took some great pains to make sure that he was unaware of her lifestyle.
While her mother may have taken great pains, we cannot say the same for her captor.
This is true.
Edwin kind of speaks up. I found no, upon examination of the girl, the doctors that I allowed into the space found no evidence of puncture wounds or anything on that line indicating that she had been fed on. We also found no evidence of any kind of bond that might have happened. There was some signs of minor abuses, maybe, but nothing indicative of what we are, and she never mentioned seeing anyone. She doesn't seem to recall any information or claims they never saw them altogether.
Children are a lot more perceptive and clever than we give them credit for. Just because she hasn't said it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Of course.
And what is the current status of this girl? Where is she?
She is being held within some of the containment centers that I have established underneath the Elysium. She has not been exposed to anything other than the people that I have permitted to allow in there. No one... Well, she did have a brief meeting with Mr. Baldridge and Bellatrix right before you arrived. However, it was no more than 30 minutes, and to my understanding, mostly just dropping off things and checking on her well-being. Anyone else that has gone in there has been under my direct supervision.
Mr. Baldridge, Bellatrix, what enticed you to want to seek out this girl? Why is she so important?
She reminds me of me.
I wish I had a better answer for you, Prince, than just feeling it needed to be done for my own humanity, as much as I know that I'm able. And he'll just be quiet and look down, clenching at his arm.
You all recognize the significant threat she poses by her very existence. We don't know what she knows, what she's seen. She, in her very right, could be a masquerade breach. One that may not even be revealed for years, were she to seek therapy. Such memories can become deeply embedded within one's psyche, only to be revealed later. She could contain significant knowledge that could be damning to our very society. So I ask again, what is so important that she is worth risking our foundational tenant to see not just once, but more than once?
If I may, it is not a risk that we need take. Well, it is quite obvious to me and to all of us that there's no way that she could go free as Kine. It does not mean that she could not serve, or that she could not eventually become one of us.
Is that a life you're all willing to subject her to?
I believe that Nick would have objections towards her becoming like us. But should it allow her to keep her life, I would prefer that.
What kind of life would that be? A life of servitude, a life of obligation. She would have to be bound, most certainly.
That would depend on her Domitor. How she was taken care of, or how she was looked after.
But she would have no free will of her own.
No.
Her life, her story would be written.
Up to a point. Choice is always available to us. And she could be given a choice, I think, when it comes to moving beyond her station. I don't see why in time we could not bring her into the fold.
And what choice would she have? A choice to accept a world that she does not fully know? A fate that she does not fully understand? or death?
That is still a choice.
A choice to be given to a child.
No. And that's why I say it should not be given to the child. She should be given a chance to be more than a child, an adult, who could make those decisions. We're not asking for forever, my prince. We are only asking for some time. A few years.
By having this child in our very keeping, we are drawing the attention and the guise of the one who took her, the one who kept her. He will come for her, and that poses a risk to this court and this city. Is that a risk you're all willing to gamble on and deal with the repercussions of what happens if he does do damage to this city and to this court?
To be honest, we have discussed his motives at length, and we believe that he is either more focused on the Malkavians than he would be on the child. Specifically, as we've mentioned, Charlie, but also either Bella or Nick. Some of what he has said seems to point towards them as well.
Edwin interjects in this moment. If I may, based on the information that has been presented to me by this coterie, I do believe that what Grei is saying checks out. I think that the situation where the child was found was sent more of a message or perhaps a trap to test the Malkavians within the coterie. It seems his interest might be less in the child than it is completing whatever it is his overall task is.
I mean, this is no offense to any of the Clan of the Moon within the room, but the motives of madmen can never fully be understood, no matter how hard you try. What he could represent is a failure to fulfill its objective of trapping Primmage and Charlie, of trapping Malkavians. He failed in whatever goal he set out with her. And if he is as deranged as you say, can you truly, confidently say that he won't use it as a motivation, or that it won't further send him down a path of derangement?
Confidently, no, but there is method in his madness. It is not random.
For now.
Well, that would bring us to the second question, I believe, as to what do you feel his fate should be? These two questions, both Sarah and Benjamin, are intertwined.
He has destroyed kindred within my domain, no?
Yes.
Therefore, he has violated the traditions.
Yes.
His fate is execution, final death. Not to be carried out by any of you, unless absolutely necessary, but to be carried out by our sheriff or our scourge when the time comes. But for now, I wish to have him detained at the very least, because one with such motives likely encountered another and is merely a puppet dancing at the end of a string. He is the face of whatever is behind it. Whether it is Sabat, whether it is another source, I refuse to believe that this lone individual is the only problem or the only threat in this situation.
No, it is clear there is something that has driven him to this.
And that's what the real threat is. Because destroy him, sure, that handles the problem for a while, but whatever created him will just simply create another. We cannot even say with any certainty that this child hasn't encountered whatever that threat was. So you see the predicament I'm in.
Does it not then behoove us to keep her alive at least until we are certain of what she knows? And perhaps are able to surface from her, even if those memories be buried deep.
Potentially. But I have a few more questions I need answered before I can say for sure.
Of course.
Are you all willing to submit yourselves to a inquiry performed by our primogen Charlie?
What would the nature of it be?
I need to know if what you tell me is true.
I have nothing to hide.
It's not you that I'm worried about.
I have nothing to hide either. I'm willing to.
As am I.
Yes.
Very well. We'll start with Mr. Baldridge then.
Charlie will scoot her chair out and kind of like, while Nick is still sitting in his, kind of scoot him out too, so that the two chairs are facing each other, and lean in and smile at him. I won't, do anything that you don't want me to do. I'm just gonna go in there, do some noodling around while he asks you questions, and then, and it's fine. It's good.
I will not close the gates.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay. So, please give me, Charlie, intelligence and auspics versus your... Well, if you are submitting, is a roll needed?
He's willingly doing it.
So it would warrant how many questions she's able to ask, so I would give her a difficulty of 1.
Right, that's...
And however many she beats it by determines how many questions she's able to discern the nature of.
Cool.
To streamline, would you like me to just take half on all of them, which would put me at 4?
That'd be fine.
Okay.
So as Charlie looks into your mind, it's calm and peaceful at first, and then the pressure begins as she has an easier time passing the defenses you've normally would be in control of and erect. There are the defenses that the brain, the subconscious, puts up to defend itself. Those are a little less giving and a little less in your control. But the resistance isn't great. It doesn't take long before she has found her way into your mind, and like a patient observer sitting off to the sidelines, you can feel her presence lingering in the corner of your mind. Not aggressively or offensively, just like another passenger in your mind. Similar to the cobweb that all Malkavians kind of have constantly lingering, but with more strength, more individuality. Mr. Baldridge, what would you do with this girl if she were released into your care?
Keep her alive, which means making sure she doesn't threaten any of the kindred, or any of you, or any of us.
Would you acquiesce to her embrace upon her coming of age if it were required?
It keeps her alive in a sense. Yes.
By your actions or the actions of others, do you believe this girl has been exposed to the existence of kindred?
I'm not sure, but I lean to no.
Have you broken the masquerade in the presence of this girl?
No.
Very good, Primogen. You may release him.
She'll like kind of blink and lean back. Seems good to go.
Thank you, Mr. Baldridge. You may relax. Miss Bellatrix?
I'll sit up straighter. Move over to Charlie. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. She'll just like look into her eyes.
And through a similar process, although it feels a little more comfortable, you don't seem as resistant to this kind of intrusion. You open yourself up to other forces and kind of the forces of the universe all the time. So it almost feels like a visitor more than an intrusion. That someone is just paying you a polite hello, coming by for a visit in your mind. Miss Bellatrix. Do you believe this girl should be allowed to remain within our society?
Yes, she has potential.
Do you have any reason to suspect, by the actions of others or yourself, that this girl has been exposed to our society before now?
I cannot account for what the actions that Ben has done when he took her, so that is a very real possibility.
Otherwise?
There was the escape from the bomb, but that was very chaotic, and I am not even sure if anything that broke the masquerade was used. So, not to my knowledge.
Would you be willing to take responsibility for this girl if she were to be released into your care?
Yes.
Thank you, Primogen. You may release her.
Blinks again, lets her go.
That was nice. You
It's
should come
fun,
visit.
right?
You should come visit and I'll show you around sometime.
Absolutely. Oh, that sounds like a great time.
I'll go sit down.
Mr. Novak, Mr. Halden, as members of my very family, I feel no need to subject your minds to such a process. So I will ask you, on your words as Toreador, do you believe this girl is worth it? All this effort? Are you willing to damn her very soul to the existence of being a kindred
On my word and my honor, I must make it clear that I do not see our existence as one that is cursed. And came to it, I believe that what she has endured has earned her the right to the gift.
Mr. Halden.
I cannot say for certain what this girl has endured. I was not present for most of it. But if it were me, I would not take responsibility for her. I would make a very tough choice, but only because I prefer to be forgotten in the shadows. It is who I am. And if she does know anything, that puts us at risk. And by what I've seen this man do, there is a distinct possibility in my eyes that he has shown her something she should not. And if he is using her as just bait, then it is one thing, but we don't know the extent of what he's done to her. It could be more of a trap we're just falling into by her being anywhere in the vicinity of us. I would not do it.
I appreciate your honesty and pragmatism, Mr. Halden. I'll ask you each then, what would you have me do? Individually. Would you have me bind this girl to the Kindred Society to one day become one of our very own? Would you have me spare her the hunger and the beast and put her out of her very misery? Or a third option, one that was employed by my very grandsire once upon a time when we ran into such a similar issue, give her a fresh start, make her forget this life she's lived in favor of another, and reintegrate her to kind society far from here, far from the reaches of Nicholas or any of the others, Benjamin, to be forgotten, to live out her kind life, to reach her potential, and to eventually perish, as all kind do. Because those are the three options I face currently. I would not, like Mr. Halden said, wish to be saddled with the mistakes or responsibilities of others. Her mother did this to her by trying to stay in her life. Benjamin was a catalyst, certainly, one who didn't help the situation, but her mother truly is at fault for this. Unfortunately, she's already paid a price and cannot see the repercussions of that further than she already has. Were she alive, she would have been executed for this. We are not meant to stay in the lives of Kine, especially one so close to us who knows so much of what we were before versus what we are now. Bellatrix, what would you have me do?
Give her new life.
Very good. Mr. Baldridge, what would you have me do?
Give her new life. but with the caveats that I, as I've said before, want her to survive by any means necessary.
Understood. Mr. Novak?
Fate has a way of bringing those back to the situation that they have found. I do not believe giving her a new life will last for long. I would recommend that she eventually become one of us.
Mr. Halden?
Clean slate.
Keeper Kine, you have heard what this coterie has to say. You have at least been directly privy to what this girl's experience has been since coming into our possession. What would you have me do?
Given the nature of my position, and I do believe I have proven this at some point or another, I am an incredibly pragmatic individual. I also do not believe in the permanence of the wiping of the slate clean. I've seen it fail time and time again, as it seems to may have even failed this Benjamin, whatever it is that has affected his mind. I am not saying that giving them a clean slate would not be the way to go. I do think that that should be theoretically fine. But in risk of sounding cold, I do think there are things that are more important than certain comforts. I would either move toward the execution or the saving toward embrace, considering that she is either to be a threat or an asset. But I leave it to your judgment and accept whatever it is decided.
Imogen Charlie?
Well, I was all about a clean slate until Keeper started talking. That he actually made a lot of good points I didn't really think about. I think I might be with Grei in this.
The prince kind of thinks pensively for a few moments, folding his hands in front of him. Not all kindred in these nights were given a choice, an opportunity to decide fully informed whether this was the life for them. Getting to see the struggles and circumstances that we go through every single waking evening. To subject a child to this makes it even more difficult because they don't know what they're losing, what they will be missing out on. But, that being said, Keeper Kane did make a very valid point. If this Benjamin had the ability to shake off or to overcome the manipulations of the mind, perhaps it means that the power is growing faint. In these late nights, Perhaps our ability to control the Kine is loosening. And that makes them all the more dangerous. I will acquiesce to your request that the girl be made kindred upon her coming of age. However, it won't be here. I will be sending her to Chicago, where she will be under the guidance and leadership of Annabelle Triabelle of the Toreador, and under the rule of Prince Jackson. They will see to her education and her growth. And as Chicago now is the high seat of the Camarilla, they will decide her fate when the time comes. But she will live. And she will have an opportunity to prove herself as an asset and less of a threat. But if she is proven to be a threat, she will be removed. Let's hope that is not the case. St. Petersburg, despite its visionary past, is still a very new city. It is still very tumultuous, and at times shows instability. And until it is stable, I do not believe it is the proper place for a new child to be brought into the world with the traumatic history that this one has had. But I believe Chicago can provide that stability. Is this acceptable to all of you?
Absolutely.
Of course. Yes, Prince.
Primogen Charlie,
Yes.
I know you have a great many duties in this city. Would you be amenable to being relieved of them temporarily and given an escort to see this girl off to Chicago? Provide some distance between you and this Benjamin for a little bit and to ensure your safety. And upon your return, you may resume them once again. A week, 2 weeks at most, to buy this coterie some time to further investigate the matter.
With all due respect, Prince, I actually prefer to be here if my clan, my family is in danger. Even if I am in danger, if they're in danger, I don't want to leave them in such a fragile position.
He kind of smiles at her answer ever so slightly, just a small tug at the corner of his lips. I was hoping you would say that. Very well. Keeper Kane make the arrangements for the girl to be transported under heavy guard safely until she is in the hands of Prince Jackson. I will send a letter to my cousin Annabelle, informing her of our intentions, but she does owe this city a boon, and therefore I will cash in that boon for the life of this girl.
That is incredibly generous. I will see to it that she makes it to the city safely.
Very good. Your compassion is admirable. Looking out for the well-being of this girl. Protecting this city, especially the Malkavians, against such a dire threat is a necessity. But it could also be your weakness. And now it has been exposed to this Benjamin. He knows how he can get, based off the fact that you cared so much for a single Kine. Be mindful of this as you move forward in your investigations. If he did it once, he'll do it again, and he may even find someone important to you to do so. In a way, you've shown your hand. So perhaps truly consider what you're willing to lose to see justice found and to fulfill your task. And I wish you the best of luck. The Keeper and the resources of the city are at your disposal to a point, as seen fit by the Keeper. And I'm sure Primogen Charlie will assist you in any way she can, but do not put her in harm's way. Her value is too great. If there's nothing else,
No, I don't believe there is.
Keeper, please ensure no one of the Coterie visits with the girl before she is sent off. I wish no further contact between the two groups.
I will be making arrangements to make sure they are out of the city this evening.
Very good.
I will.
Then you are all dismissed.
Before everybody walks out, she'll just look at Grei. I like that color on you. You guys have fun.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Edwin stands up. My Prince, Oracle, thank you for your time. Please enjoy the remainder of your evening, and we will see to this is resolved as soon as possible. He will then escort all of you out of the room and take you away from the area so that the Prince and Oracle can discuss what may need to be discussed and get to whatever duties they have for the remainder of the evening. He takes you back to his office. Well, you step inside, he goes to his desk, offering you the seats. That went well, I think. Are you satisfied?
Better
I
than
am.
expected.
Yes, Keeper.
Yes.
It went better than expected.
Then I suppose that it's fair to say my debt to you has been paid.
If I had felt that you had a debt to us, yes, absolutely.
Very well then. Back to the business at hand. Do you have any leads or anything in regard to Benjamin that you could follow? Anything that might have come to light in the passing week?
We have his mask that we took from him first time we met.
He was very
could-
focused on his face.
I think I can use that mask, Bella.
We could lay a trap for him if we use your visionary abilities or my visionary abilities and connect with him like you did before.
I think I
Maybe
can
we
push it
can
further.
lead him to us.
So it sounds like you have things. I will go ahead and dismiss you for the evening. Well done. Keep me informed of anything, and as the Prince stated, if you need any of my assistance, within reason, I am at your disposal.
Of course. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
After you're dismissed, and you are stepping out of the dolly, starting with Bellatrix. What's going on in your mind? What are you thinking?
She's going to Chicago. I'm still not sure if she's a shard, but I have her diary, so I can keep an eye on her. Just use the site, see if we connect. I will turn to Nick and hit him in the shoulder. What were you thinking in there?
What?
You were going to use a power in front of her that would put her in more danger.
I will say at the moment he seems like he's going around in his head trying to excuse himself, and he's just like,
use the vast oracle powers you have to think sometimes. You rush in and you get us in trouble.
he goes to reach for his coin, which is no longer there. And so he just lights a cigarette. It's like, fuck.
And that's what Bella is feeling and thinking.
Where's Matthew at?
He doesn't really care at this point in time what they think their opinion of him is, because he thinks he made the right call by trying to wash his hands of this, because it is just a powder keg waiting to go off in his mind. So if they have any resentment towards him, he really doesn't care. And he's really hungry.
How about Grei?
Grei is kind of listening to Bellatrix and Nick argue in the background as he is trying to internally calm himself down from the absolute panic attack he was feeling at the thought of Charlie rooting around in his head. And he is trying to keep his poker face up, even amongst the three members of his coterie currently.
And how's Nicholas doing?
He is completely torn in two. Because he heard every word and agreed with every word of the prince on multiple levels. But all he can think of is his son. It's all he can think of right now. And just thinking that how much like this might have been if he had turned his own son, and what this could mean for a girl who was just innocent. He feels more the monster that he hates so much. And once more, the desire to walk straight into the sun just presses against him, knowing he'll still be too cowardly to do it.
With that, we are going to take a quick break. And we'll be back in just a few moments. I want to thank Kent and Champ for hopping in here this evening and playing Carmine and Charlie. Thank you very much, and we will see you all soon.
St. Petersburg by Night is brought to you through collaborations with our partnered vendors: Wolfpack Dice, Ember Fox Dice, Dragon Ink Dice, Beara the Bard, Champs Tramps, Panchi Artista, and Chromatic Creations US. Links to our partnered vendors, as well as our Twitch and YouTube channels, can be found on our website, stpetbynight.com. The official theme song for St. Petersburg by Night is Vampire by Faith and Failure. You can find them at faithandfailure.com. You can follow SPbN on all socials with the hashtag StPeteByNight. If you wish to support our program, you can do so at ko-fi.com/stpetebynight to help keep the stories rolling.
Welcome back. As we are in the final stage of this episode, we are going to kind of pull things into the tea shop. You guys are in the main area, kind of decompressing after that very tense encounter with the prince and the oracle. What are you doing as we step into this room?
I'm gonna go check and look for Ophelia.
Okay.
Nick's gonna just take the first seat available, just 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah, Grei is going to collapse into one of the seats, probably the one that he usually sits in. And look over at Nick, not say anything.
Matt's going to be just plopped out on the first chair he can find with a sketch pad and a pencil and just going to town on it, not saying a word.
Bellatrix, you find Ophelia.
Hey, we should talk later, but I think you and Lola should take a trip back to Boston for a while. Maybe a couple weeks. She probably wants to visit some friends anyways, and it's safer.
Is something wrong?
Things are dangerous, and I don't want the two of you being hurt. So I'll tell her it's in the cards.
You tell her it's in the cards?
No, I'll tell her it's in the cards.
Then there's absolutely no protest as soon as you say that. Oh, okay, yeah, I understand. When do we need to leave?
Let's invite her over tomorrow, and then you can leave the next morning.
Okay, yeah. I'll get ready.
Okay.
Is there anything else you need tonight?
No, get some rest.
All right then. Have a good night. And she turns around and heads back to her space.
I'll head back and sit down.
Everyone looks like they're mourning. We were successful. We saved the girl, Nick.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, we did.
I'm not mourning. I just have billions of thoughts on billions of things.
Anyway, where's the mask, Bella?
Oh,
You really
sorry.
thought you'd be more excited.
I'm glad she's alive. Right, I really am.
She's got a bright future ahead of her, too.
I don't think bright's the word I'll use.
I'll have to get you over that.
It's a future, Grei. I mean, I'll give you that.
No, I mean,
Yes.
that's self-loathing. I'm gonna have to get you over that.
Good luck.
Do enough drugs, it'll get you over anything. I promise.
Yeah, no.
Cocaine, take you right over the top.
My thoughts race just fine without cocaine. I don't need more.
Ketamine, maybe slow you down some.
Bella, the mask, please.
I'll go get the mask.
I think he actually means Grei. Shut up, please.
I thought I was being cordial.
You were, but I decided to do it for you.
Go ahead and give me a resolve and aspects.
What was that?
Resolve and
think-
aspects.
Relevant aspects. Okay.
You're quiet, Matt.
hungry,
Oh,
and we need eyes. We need lots and lots of eyes.
where? Everywhere?
Yes, everywhere.
Where do we start?
Basement. What's the roll for, Beara? Did you
You're
say?
trying to pop a premonition, correct?
No, spirit touch.
Spirit
the
touch.
mask.
I misunderstood. My apologies.
I say we start in our area. The more we can have preempting anything that might coming or going in, I think it might make us easier.
I say we show him where we are. Have him come to us. He likes traps. We make a trap for him.
Except for the fact that, I don't know, I can't see him. You can't see him half the time.
Well, there is that.
I don't have a problem seeing him, but the things he hides, really, really difficult.
That's my point.
Also, we should think about getting like a place beyond my shop.
I'm actually working on that.
Already way ahead of you. I have a new place. Well, my own.
Well, congratulations that you have a house or a home, and you don't have to sleep on my couch anymore. But I was talking about like for all of us. I don't mind us meeting here, but it does bring danger to certain points in our lives.
Okay, go ahead and give me the intelligence and aspects.
Can I spend a willpower?
Yeah, sure.
Goodness, 2.
This premonition that pops is not as potent as the ones you've had before. As you are focusing on the mask, the only thing that seems to appear, you're kind of in the space that you're in, and then you begin to see things kind of dissolving. Not a lot, not in grand detail, but like the mask itself seems to dissolve. And as it disintegrates, it falls into not dust, but glitter. And then the glitter seems to be stained red. And when you pop back, you're holding the mask.
Well, either he's going after someone with a unhealthy obsession with glitter, or someone who works at a glitter factory. I kind of get much off this read. I think I'm still getting used to this new ability.
Glitter, you said?
Glitter stained with blood.
If anyone would like, you can give me a wits it is.
Sounds like Hodges.
Me included?
If you'd like. It's open to all of you.
Two successes.
3 successes.
I didn't get a confirmation. Is Matthew and Baldridge rolling?
No, I'm not. I'm not rolling.
I rolled a 1.
Thank you. Okay. This is not the first vision that has happened where glitter was involved. And the first time these happened, it seemed to guide you to Mr. Hodges. If that is the case, then it is likely he is either involved, maybe, or a target, but he is somehow tied to whatever is happening.
Well,
Nick, didn't you say something when we were at Hodges about feeling calm?
yes, what drew me into the house so suddenly in the first place, it was just it basically kind of like the peace of death, if that makes sense. It called to be embraced by it. It called to let go of everything. It's what drew me in the first place.
He seemed remarkably put together.
So, if we're talking about him, Grim was a spy for someone I don't know, or who I don't know, like which faction, but he was a spy in the city, and his sire in contact was Mr. Hodges, which that's how we got there. He was also spying on a Toreador? Yes, a Toreador named Victor Adams, who's new to town. That's who Grim was gathering information, aside from his obsession with his targets or his victims. So maybe we could learn more about Hodges. We looked into Victor.
Or we could just go talk to Hodges himself. I had a nice sit down with him earlier this evening.
I don't think I'd be welcome to.
Depends on what kind of gifts you're buying. People tend to open their hearts when you have the right gifts.
I don't think it's a good idea.
Ooh, he likes to bake, right?
He does. In fact, I gave him a baking set. On top of that, I promised him I'd try to find him some pumpkin spice blood.
That's a thing.
Yes, it could be a thing. I know some people.
Can it be any flavor?
I don't know about any flavor, but I can reach out and find out.
I could bring him tea, though. Because you know what goes good with baking? Tea.
Oh, which tea? The one that...
No, I'm not
It's
giving him my
special?
specialty. No.
I don't know. There's a feather and all that.
You're one to talk.
Who am I similar to?
So, considering the calm and the fact that Benjamin is so not calm, and the fact that Grimm was definitely not calm,
You think
I think
he's...
Hodges might have found a way to push your family's curse off onto other people.
Can I roll a cult to see if that's even possible that I know of?
Sure. You can give me wits or intelligence plus cult.
Can I assist with that?
Certainly.
Sweet. Hmm. 3 successes.
On 3 successes. That is completely unheard of. That is impossible.
As far as I know, that's impossible.
No, it was a long shot.
Can it be some weird offshoot of dementation?
Possibly. I don't know enough about I don't have it yet. I haven't developed it. I'm still working on that.
You want something like that?
Yeah.
As long as you don't use it on me.
Maybe Hodges isn't Hodges. He just says as he's scribbling away.
Maybe Hodges isn't Hodges. Or maybe someone's using Hodges in the same way. Alright, we have this Victor, right? And we have Hodges. We have Benjamin, who is going to be upset because he's foiled at some point or another.
You're muted.
Dang it. All right. Can the Toreadors in the group please give me a... We'll call it wits and politics.
No successes.
I ain't gonna like this. It was all hunger die. I was rolling.
Oh.
One.
With 2 brutals.
Take 1 hunger. Neither of you know who this individual is.
Well, I do have some people I can reach out to ask them if they've seen this person. Matt, I figure you could put some feelers out as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
You all right?
I need to go cleanse the palate.
You were talking about being hungry when we were leaving. You want me to step out and find something? I could go with you.
That might be a good idea.
Yeah, why don't we do that? Grei will get up and move to the door. I'm gonna hold it open for Matt.
He's just gonna, as gently as he can, put the notepad on the table and just hurry outside.
So,
We'll be back. Don't wait up.
wasn't planning on it.
Nick's going to get up and goes to find Alex.
Muted again.
Sorry, my mic picks up everything when it's not muted. So Matthew and Grei go to look for food. Nicholas goes to find Alex and Bellatrix.
I'm feeling tiny bit peckish, but I think I'm just gonna go spend time with Ophelia.
Okay. As you guys go out to pursue your particular task, you cannot help but feel a certain level of dread. It's been quiet. A little too quiet this week. No bodies have shown up. No other encounters with Benjamin. You can't help but wonder when exactly the next problem's gonna drop. And with that sensation of dread, you'll be picking up in this exact spot when we come back next week, as we bring this session to a close. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening, and we will see what they get into next time. Have a wonderful night.
This has been a St. Petersburg by Night production. Bloody Strings is produced in agreement with the World of Darkness and Dark Pack. The storyteller for Bloody Strings is Beara. Tonight's characters were voiced by Noree, Kyrie, Lekar, and Truckexe. Visit our website at stpbynight.com for more information about all of our productions and how you can become a part of our community. Thank you for listening. Until next time, fangs, stakes, and claws out.